Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another Megacolony premium deck profile, and this one is something that different. Um, I can basically show you is a Flagburg Megacolony deck profile. Now I have been trying to work on things that making the era cards like overdressed era cards in premium. It's not an easy task because there are decks that can completely run in premium right now. Uh, I won't name any of these, but I'm trying to find what is easier to do. Not like in content, but it's easier to build. It's kind of easier that you can build the deck and get cards easier. Because it's quite important to let people from like playing only overdressed era cards, knowing that if you get a little bit more cards from like previous formats, then you can also enjoy premium. That's the goal of it. So I do have more to test and trying to get more D cards into premium. So do go through this journey with me and let's go into it. Now first we do have a Flagburg, but before that we are telling you I'm going to use the V era starter because I can draw, I can get quick shield, and it's a card that stays in the soul, which is quite important that we get cards into a soul. So using this, and next 4 of the Flagbirds, because we do want to have multiple copies, not mainly for personal right, but for our Ascendance Assault to call out, and more importantly, we do need a same copy of the Vanguard cards in order to do one of our major combos, which we will see in a bit. But for people who knows about like the stride decks and stuff, you probably know what that is. But of course the combo you might not know. But do note that you do need multiple copies of your Vanguard. So this is something that I want to tell you. Flagbird himself is important to do multiple attacks, and not only the Flagbird support themselves can do, Megacolony cards can also help you to do that. Now, most cases I won't be using any of the Flagbird Dragon skill because I will be using G units, but I can still always get the 4 to 5 attacks if I need to. So there is no issue to actually use Flagbird skill if you can't stride. So don't worry about it. But having the name, having multiple copies, and be ready to actually use the skill is important. Now, talking about multiple attackers package, I do have these cards right here. So, Hell Demise is a common card that you can probably easier to find at locals, unless they don't even pull like a lot of these boosters. But it's a common, so it won't be too hard to find, and he is a standard. His skill is when he appears on Regard Circle, you can rest on of your opponent's unit and restand one of yours. So we do have cards that call this out during the battle phase, and you will see in a bit. But this, he called himself during the battle phase. As long as your opponents do take a damage, like by the time that your Vanguard attack finished, so it doesn't have to be Vanguard to hit. It can be all the Regard attacks that already hit before your Vanguard attacks. You just need to wait your Vanguard to complete that attack, and then see if your opponents do take a damage at all. Then you can choose the color blast one and call this unit out from drop zone. And once you have this card appears on Regard Circle, no matter you just call it through hand, call from deck, using his own skill to call from drop. You can soul blast 1, withstand one of your regards, and this card will get plus 10k. So even without the Flagburg support, you still have cards that can help you to do multiple attacks and reaching the 4 or maybe 5 attacks that you need. But of course, this one probably won't be directly relating to Flagburg, because if you can't call him out during your battle phase, which requires other cards, then you can increase the number of attacks. Now, back to cards that you are more familiar with is the Aggress Blue Dragon. So this card, after attacking a Regard, you can soul blast 1 and withstand it as long as your Vanguard is Flagburg. So this explains why you do need Flagburg as your Vanguard. And a quick spoiler on G units, that when you stride, which you have another card that's great for, you put on top of your Vanguard, and your original Vanguard will become the heart of the GE unit. So their names will also be counted as the Grade 4 unit's name. So they share 2 names. So even if you stride, you can still use these effects because your Vanguard is still a Flagburg Dragon, which still makes all these skills active, and you can still do multiple attacks. And 4 of the Ascendants with Assault, which again is a familiar package that we do have in Flagburg, and a Restander. And this card you can just call out for free if you ride your Flagburg and you show also another Flagburg. Yeah. Which he doesn't exactly need to be right on top by Flagburg. You just need to show a Flagburg, but most of the time what you want to do is to ride to Flagburg, so doesn't matter too much. And also, don't worry too much about soul blasting to call this unit out. If you really need to do it, if you don't think you have enough resources, it's okay if you don't, because we do have other units that can do multiple attacks, but he's here for a lot of reasons. And another spoiler alert, that make sure you do keep one in hand for the combo. And of course I will be telling you what the combo is, but do note that for now. And now, next I'm running the Blooming Petal Carophilus. So she is a soul charger if you don't have any souls, which this deck do use a lot of souls. This use, and we do have other cards to use as well. So having an extra support that can soul charge is very important right here. And let's talk about some Megacolony cards in grade 2, which is Machining Mantis. So this card is very simple. When you put this card on your Vanguard Breaker Circle, you count plus 1, look at top 6 cards of the deck, search up to 1 grade 3 cards, review it, add to your hand, and shuffle that. And this card also gets plus 6k for the turn. So helps you to search for Flagburg or any other grade 3s that you need, because you do need to discard with grades up to grade 3. So you can like discard a grade 3, discard a 1 to 2, discard a 1/1/1 unit in order to stride. So this helps you to find your key pieces, find your units to stride, and also can be a 15k attacker for the turn. So he's just that good. And entering grade 1s. First, one of Stoichia PG, because it's a PG that I can just simply stitch up and do the PG without discarding card if I don't have a lot of hands. But I'm only running one. Not that I don't have enough, but we do have other PGs to use. But I do want to have different variety, so this is in here. Okay, now next is another card that you might know already, which is High Rate Burst Dragon. So this card helps you to enable multiple attacks, but you do need to have Flagburg as a Vanguard. Give another regard a skill when the attack is the first attack, first battle. Then you can color +1 and soul +1 and restand that unit. So you can simply get more chances to do multiple attacks with this card. So far I don't need to use this card a lot, so I'm only running 2. And you don't need to afraid that when this card is gone, it's gone, because we do have a high class morph, which is a Megacolony unit that helps you to recycle normal units. So this card, if it's in your deck or so, is counted as a grade 3. So even this can search this out, and you rest this unit, put a normal unit back to your bottom of the deck from drop. Then you can counter charge 1, choose one of your opponent's pre-guards, and they cannot intercept, but you can only use this skill once per turn and bound by names. So even if you have multiple copies, you can only do one action, the other one can't do. So do note about that. But we do have counter charge, we do have card recycling, so you can recycle our Hell Demise, you can recycle all these attackers or even the PGs, so that you can reuse them again, and you can get to counter charge. We have a cost to rest this unit, but the return is very big. And then 3 of the little dockers. So this is what we call a grade 3 searcher. When you call this card from hand or write this card from hand, you can look at top 5 cards, search up to grade 3 cards, add to your hand and shuffle deck. If you do, discard 1 card back. So helps you to find your key pieces, or you can just search for a Caesars and Digit. And this card also can get 5k power if your opponents have no standing units during your turn. So can sometimes be 30k attacker or booster, which can help you adjust the power a lot. And we do need to have same name, same copy Vanguards in our hand, so Little Dockers is here to help secure that. And then 2 of the Butterfly Officer. So this card, when you call this unit out, you can rest her or rest him, rest this card. Then you can choose one of your other regards plus 10k. If you do, that unit by the end of the turn will need to go into the soul, and you can counter charge 1. So heavy soul charge, heavy counter charge, and also gets you extra 10k for the turn. And you do get to restand your units anyway, so that is helping out, because these 2 usually they don't do a lot of like high power attacks because they are only 10ks, and we don't personalize a lot, so extra power boost like at Mantis is important. And now this actually plus 10k instead of 5, and you get to counter charge, you get to put the card in the soul, so you can reuse it. Now entering triggers. First, we do have our Stoichia over trigger. It's not very important that you choose this one or the elemental one, both are okay, but I do prefer multiple effects in here, which you will see in a bit when I talk about the GZone. But for now, just see it as a good over trigger to use. I think that's enough. And then I am running 4 of the Little Honey, which this card, when you strike from hand, this card can consider as a grade 3 card. So you can just ditch this card to strike, which is very important in this deck, that you do want to save your Vanguard same name copy to do other things, which this card helps you to reduce the chances you need to do so. And this card, Battle F, that can get when your Vanguard attacks, you can put this unit into the soul, draw 1 card, and choose your Vanguard to get 10k. It gets a GB1 that you do need to stride. At least have 1 face-up GZone card on your Vanguard circle or your GZone in order to use the skill. But as long as you can stride, this can change into another card and plus 10k. and also fail result, so it's quite good. And then we have 3 of the draw PGs, so they are draw triggers, they are also PGs. Combining with the Stoichia PGs, we do have 4, so don't worry about that. So basically the users is here. And then I have 2 of the Megacolony Battle G. Now this card gets into the soul and counter charge 1 as an active skill, and it's a stand trigger. So do helps your little grade 2s and such to withstand and do a little punch, but most importantly, he is here to soul charge and counter charge. Again, you do need to use that skill a lot, like with counter loss and soul blast a lot. And with heal triggers, we are running 2 of the heal guardians and 2 of the G era heal. So heal guardians, if you are not grade 3 yet, and you if you have not run any grade 3s during this game, and you put this card to your guardian circle, you can choose one of the skill, which is plus 10k for the turn for your Vanguard, minus a unit for 2 crit for the battle, which can help you survive for turns. And if you are lacking damage, like you don't have damage, and if you call this card from hand to regular circle, you can actually put the top card of the deck to damage zone, so you can have damage to use. But of course you can't heal that after your turn ends, because that is not written there, but if you do need a counter blast, it's here. And now this is the old G era heals. They only give you 5k power, but they are still important here, because when you use this card to call a G Guardian, which for G Guardian you do need to discard a heal in order to call a extra grade 4 Guardian from your GZone. And if you do so, and if you do have an other heal to bind face up together, you can choose to counter charge 1 or soul charge 1. Again, counter charge, counter blast and soul blast is very important in this deck, so having a lot of ways to actually recover resources and reuse is very important right here. Now we do cover the main deck, and let's talk about the GZone real quick, and let's also talk about the little combos that you can do. So you can see the deck content is actually using a lot of Flagburg supporting cards, so you won't be like completely not knowing what you can do with the deck, because it's still a Flagburg build, but also including some key Megacolony cards to make the deck even stronger. Now GZone, first we do have 4 of the grade 4 Ghidorah. So this card have an active skill, once per turn counter blast 1 and select any face down GZone card to flip them face up, so you do lose 1 of your G units, but by doing so you make your opponent's units cannot stand in the stand phase, including the Vanguard. So if they want to use the Vanguard again, they do need to write another one. That is big. And your opponents cannot call anything except from hand. So they cannot use the G Guardians, they cannot superior call from drop, they cannot superior call from deck. They still can superior call from hand though, but all the calling actions needs to be from hand. And also her second skill is when she attacks, you can soul blast 1, search up to 1 grade 3 units from your deck, call to Riga Circle and plus 10k for that unit, and shuffle the deck. So this is also helping you to increase the multiple attack chances, and you can basically call Hell Demise to restand another unit, so you can do 5 attacks. And then for overwhelms, this card is usually the flipping target for your Ghidorah, but if you do need to use her skill is as follows. 1, once per turn, active skill, counter blast 1, and choose 1 face down card of your GZone and flip them face up, so similar to Ghidorah. And this time her skill is for each rested regards your opponents have, you draw a card. And if they only have one or less, you get one crit and one drive. So you can do 4 drive checks with this card. Usually we do triple drive, but if you plus 1 drive, you actually get extra 1. So you do draw a lot of cards from here. And this card also get a permanent skill, which is GB free, so you do need to have a total of 3 face-up units on your GZone or Vanguard circle in total to activate this skill. And for each face down damage your opponent has, all of your units get plus 2k. So if you do need a extra power boost, she can help you out. But most of the time I am flipping her with Ghidorah. And this is of Tyrannus, so it's a G unit that is a little bit longer before with a GB2 skill active skill that you discard a card as a cost, and before your opponent's turn ends, your opponents cannot call any units to the Vanguard circle, including Superior Call. So basically they can only call Guardians, that's all. They can ride, they can guard, that's all they can do. They cannot call any units to the field, so if they have an empty field and you use this card, they basically can't do anything else. But Ghidorah can block a lot of calls except from hand and ready, so most of the time you don't need to use this. And this card costs you 2 color blast. This only costs you 1, but you do need to flip another one face up. So you do need to see which situation is better, then use the card that you think fit. Now we do have our GB8, which GB8 means you do need to have a total of 8 face up G units on your GZone and Vanguard circle in total in order to use this skill, which is for each of your your opponent's rested Vanguard or Vanguard cards, all of your units get plus 5k. So if they do have more XL circles, you do have more 5ks, but usually if all the 6 circles that are rested, you get 30k per unit. So you do have 6, and all 6 are going to get plus 30k. So that's a massive power boost. And your opponents lose all their auto abilities on Vanguard and Regards, and they cannot intercept. So if they are lacking cards to guard, this is what you need to do to finish them off. You pump a high power, they can't guard them all, they lose. And we do have our Seraph Dragon Soa, which involves a mechanic called Ultimate Stride that you do need to have 3 cards face up on a GZone in order to stride this card. And when you stride this card as a cost, you do need to ditch a unit that is having the same name as your Vanguard, which is explaining why you do need multiple Flagburgs in your hand. And this card have a little bit more different skills. First is you stride this card, and after your turn ends, when this card returns to your GZone, all of your GZone cards will be removed from game. So you don't have any more GB, no more generation break, and you cannot strike anymore, you can't use your G Guardians anymore. But in return, when this card appears on Vanguard Circle, you can color blast 2, draw 1 card, and call 1 unit from your hand. Then for turn, that unit will not be selected by any effects, no matter yours or your opponent's, and their power will become 99,999, so quintet 9. And whenever that unit that you apply the skill and power hits, they lose. So it's a guaranteed lose as long as they take the hit. Now, do you see what is coming? If not, look at this card. What this card says: if your other regards attack with Vanguards, and your Vanguard is a Flagbird, you counterblast one and you stand this unit. Usually, Soa give power and skill to a unit and that unit attacks and that's it. Normally. Because even if you have stand triggers, you can stand this because this card cannot be targeted by any effects, or your other units cannot withstand this card, but he can withstand himself. He don't need to, he's not other cards, this card is still himself. So if you use Soa to play this card and give the power and skill attack, this is a fatal damage, and after you withstand, your attack is still a fatal damage. So your opponents need to survive for 2 fatal damage. And unless they are like a protect clan, they can guard 1, they probably can't guard 2. And from there, this is your win con. But in order to do that, you do have free open, you need free open counterblast. So do take care of your resources very carefully. And to help you do that, we do have a British lady. So this card, when you call this card out and you want to use her skill, you do need to flip one face down, G Guardian face up. So these ones are G Guardians, they are great forward, they have shield value. These ones don't. So these ones are G Guardians, and they do tell you this is G Guardian. And you flip one face up, and now you tell your opponents to choose. They can rest 2 units. If they do, nothing happens. If they can't, you draw 1, you counter charge, you soul charge. So you get a lot of stuff from her. And the time you use her, most likely your opponents cannot rest 2 units anyway, so you can get all the effects off. She can't get you extra shield value, but she's helping you to prepare for your basically final turn. Because you stride, you're already at GB2, or maybe sometimes you can only GB1, say whatever happens, and you call this as a guardian and flip another face up, now you have GB3, and you are ready for you to use the Soa to do the combos that I just said. And we do have other G guards, class boards, so you can counterblast 1, and when your opponent's Vanguard attacking, you pay the cost, and then if you do, rest all of your opponent's background regards, and for the turn, for each 2 rested unit get plus 5k. So this card is helping you out to get rid of any kind of grade 1 or lower booster that when they boost give some annoying skill or activate some annoying skill, you block that to happen before they actually boost. And you do have 2 more Forcian to get extra tanky shield when this card appears on Guardian Circle and your opponents have 2 or less standing units, which is quite easy. Now, GZone also explained, and let's talk about what the deck do. So most of the time you do use your Ghidorah to do 5 attacks, stun all the units, and making them like suffer. This is your first strike, and hopefully you do have a heal, so you can use one of G Guardians. Say you already flip one with Ghidorah and use this, or just use this is okay. Then you have 3 to 4 GZone open, and when you get to your turn again, you have your Flagburg. You ditch your Flagburg, straight into your Soa. Counterblast 1, draw a card, and from your pile of cards in your hand, call this. And the other side doesn't matter. Can be something like this. Then you have something to boost it, like this. Then what you do now is, this one I already used 2 counterblast, and you save 1 counterblast there for him to withstand. So what you do is fatal damage. Now they block it. This can, or you can just use this to attack something else to kill the intercept. Soul blast, withstand, and then this is the first attack. Second attack, fatal damage. Now they block it. This one attacks, counter blast, withstand, and Now you can choose to use your Vanguard attacks. Maybe you hit the over trigger, at least the threat is still there, that they need to guard that, and then you do your fatal damage again. Or you can like use this to attack, regard, withstand. Use your Vanguard attack, give the threats. Pump hard here, and then fatal, attack, withstand, fail. So that's basically how this deck runs. And after that, even your GZone is gone, it's still a Flagburg deck. So you don't need to worry about the GZone anymore, and just try to do 5 attacks and force your opponents to give 3 cards to guard at the same time. But through here, they already uses a lot of resources, so they probably can't survive anything from Flagburg. But the most ideal goal is to win through here. Yeah. So that's basically what I need to tell about this deck. It's very fun, and I'm glad that I can put one of this Stoichia deck into one of the clans that I like the most, which is Megacolony. I saw the idea in like line groups with some Megacolony Japanese players. They introduced me this idea that is possible, and from there I just modify the deck a little bit more, finding units that I think fit, something that I feel not fit, I just take them out, and after a little bit of testing and such, this is where I am at. And so far, I'm happy to at least try this combo, and it's very fun. Because the weakness of Soa in the past is that we only get 1 shot, and those shots will just get PGs. And now you have 2 shots. How lovely is that, right? And also, the Quintet 9 is also kind of an over trigger. Kind of. Not as that much, but kind of. At least the power is that big. Yeah, and your opponents will need to give a lot of shield to guard if they don't have PG. So, and those units that you give skill cannot be affected by other effects, so your opponent cannot send them away, cannot retire them and whatever. So everything is great. You just have your invincible units that can cause fatal damage and attack for 2 times. Again, how lovely is that? Yeah. So that's it for this deck profile. Make sure you give this video a like if you like this build. Subscribe for more deck profiles. I do record fight videos sometimes, and I do hope to actually have a good setup to record deck fights with this deck and other premium decks that I do have. It might take some time, but I will get there. And comment down below. Let me know your thoughts about this deck. And I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.